Shalom. We are the Isupk coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. And today's topic is the manifestation of the blessing. You got a lot of talk about the curses, but nobody, except for the Isupk, we the only ones that really actually go into the blessing. We the only ones that do that. The other groups, the fake Israelite groups, they don't go into it. They want to use the curses to just sit there and say, well, pretty much to say Esau's justified in what he's doing. That's what they really want to do. That's what they eventually lead you, to think. But in the Isupk, we go over both. We go over the curses and we give you something to look forward to, which is the blessing. We give you, just like the Lord said, if you do this, then I will do this for you. I will give you this, And these blessings have a look. And what I want you to do, I want y'all to visualize these things for a second. That's why this clip is called the manifestation of blessing. Now, we're going to start at Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, means to hearken diligently, and we consistently hearken unto the voice of the Lord, right? To observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Now the Lord said he will set us on high above all nations of the earth. Now wrap your mind around that for a second. We see the condition that we're in now. We say, well, we think, well, it's impossible for that to happen. No, it's not impossible. I mean, the Lord is a master with raising things from the dead. He rose Christ from the dead, didn't he? That the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Above all nations. Not to be, with some nations to be over us, and we'll be over other little nations. No, that's not what it's talking about. And we're not going to be equal with everybody. We're not going to be equal with anybody. Let's get that understood. The Lord ain't the God, he's not the God of equality. He's not that type of God. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee. Means they will overtake you. Means when you overtake something, for something to be overtaken means to be powerless against it. Means the blessing that will come up on us will be powerless against it. Because the blessing will come so strong. If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. Means the city, what place that we go to do business, that we, down in the city will be blessed. Means the Lord will cause things to prosper there. And in the field, it means the fruit of whatever it is that we're, if we having grapes, them grapes will be the size of baseballs. That's a blessing right there. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body. The fruit of the body is your kids, your children. And the fruit of thy ground. And the fruit of thy cattle. The increase of thy kind and the flocks of thy sheep. Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. This basket in the store means the Lord is going to bless that. He's going to cause it to fill up. Your storehouse will be plenteous. Means you'll have, when you have to rely upon the storehouse, that means there's a situation going down to where, like, say for instance, it might be winter. All during the time when it's, warm, is the time for you to be storing up. The Lord said he will bless that. But see, under the curse, we'll be storing up things. And you say you got a storehouse full of whatever, and then you go and then you think, you're like, man, I know I put more in there than this. Just like with our bank accounts, our money and all of that. When we get our paycheck from the job, that's the curse. Because we get our paycheck from our job, and we look and we like, man, look, I know that I work more than this. And we sitting there looking at our, looking at the paycheck, like, we're nothing but being puzzled by looking at it. Because we know that we work more than that. But that's the curse. But the blessing is the direct opposite of that. The blessing, you look at, you ain't even going to have to be looking for a paycheck, looking at a paycheck. You'll see your storehouse, and then you'll be like, man, look at this. You'll be like, I know I didn't put all of this here. What happened? How did all of this get in here? And you start thinking you got somebody else's stuff. That's all yours. Blessed shall be thy basket in thy store. Blessed shall thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shall thou be when thou goest out. The Lord shall cause thy enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. Means, now, this comes with separation. This thing comes with separation right here. We have to separate before this stuff can happen. You see what I'm saying? Now, think about it. This is one of the reasons why the white man wants to keep us joined to them so badly. This is the reason why he wants to do that. He wants to keep us joined with him because he knows that the Lord is not going to smite our enemies with us joined with our enemies. We're more likely to get smitten. And the white man knows that. That's why the white man will be talking about, niggas, how he hate niggas, and, how he want to be apart from niggas, and where niggas at is the bad section of town. But as soon as you talk about separating from him, that same devil is going to call you a racist. And he's going to be angry and acting, why would you want to do that? When he wants to separate from you. He wants to separate from you, but he thinks you shouldn't want to separate from him. Because he knows you separate from him, that starts to demise his kingdom. That starts to make his kingdom go down. And he knows that. He knows that subconsciously. He might not know it scripturally or anything like that. But in his spirit, he knows this. Because he knows how America got all its wealth and all of its power is off of us. So it's abomination. The thought of you separate from him is abomination to you, to him rather. It's abomination, but for you to even wrap your mind around that from his point of view. They shall come out against thee one way and flee before thee 7 ways. Now picture the scenario of you being separate from the white man and us having our own piece of land and us getting right standing with the Most High, right? The enemies come up against us and we do just like what we did in times before. Every man starts to pray. We go on a fast, you know what I'm saying? And everybody cries out to the Most High. And all of a sudden the Most High has heard of us. And he starts to tear our enemies up right in front of us. And then what do? We go through a season of feasting and celebrating because of the great thing that the Lord has done for us. So think about this. Wouldn't you want this? This thing comes with separation. That's what it comes with. It doesn't come with being together and being under one big melting pot and, and all of this, that loving everybody and all this doesn't come with that. You've been loving everybody. You love the slave master, and the slave. What did it do? It kept you in slavery, didn't it? So obviously you need to listen to the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge and try this different thing that we bring towards you. That's the thing that you ought to do. Loving everybody has done nothing for you. And we celebrate also too. We celebrated. We didn't mourn for them. We didn't mourn when the Lord carried out the judgment upon our enemies and destroyed our enemies and defended his nation. We didn't mourn for that. Who goes to war with somebody and then mourns for the nation that they went to war with? The only time we ever supposed to do that is when something happens to our brethren. Like, for instance, the deal that happened with the children of Benjamin when they went up against all the 11 tribes. And the Lord had a great slaughter in the land of Benjamin and brought them down to 400 people. And the Lord destroyed all the women out of Benjamin on top of that. Then after that, we mourned. We didn't feast, we didn't celebrate concerning that. We mourned because of that, because our brother had been brought small and brought down low. We had to carry out the judgments of the Lord and go to war with them, but at the same time, we mourned right afterwards, because those are our brothers, and our main thought then was to rebuild our brothers. That's why they went into Shiloh, and we allowed the children of Benjamin to come in and take the women that was in there, so that they can repopulate and rebuild up. You see what I'm saying? And flee before these 7 ways. The Lord shall command the blessing upon thee in thy storehouses, and in all that thou settest thine hand unto, and he shall bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. The Lord shall establish thee an holy people unto himself. And once again, there goes the name holy, which means, according to the Bible, it means separate. It's a separate group right there. Separate from the whole world. As he hath sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God, and walk in his ways, and all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee. So, what do the nations do when they're afraid of you? The nations bring you gifts when they're afraid of you. If they're not afraid of you if you go and you get educated. Nobody cares about it. You got brothers and sisters that's talking about, the most thing in the spirit is a black man, an educated black man, a black man that reads, a black man that, those people are not feared. They're going out to get jobs. They're not feared. They don't fear you because you in their school. You in their school, you'll laugh and stop. You thinking that they in fear of you because you going and getting educated and you showing that you could be an overachiever in their system. They're not afraid of you because of that. Their educational system ain't based on freeing no damn slaves. So why should they be afraid of you? You see what I'm saying? Why should they be scared of an educated black man that's educated up under their system? You see what I'm saying? Whom they know love them, love their educational system, and don't even want to find out who the hell he is. Don't even care to know. They're afraid of that? No. They can use that. Whatever gift and talent you have, they know that they're gonna have that to profit them. You go and you work for some type of firm, some type of company or something like that. Who do you think is benefited? And they're afraid of you? Come on now, are you serious? They're far more afraid of the Negro that didn't graduate high school but picks up a Bible and starts to want to do what it says. They're far more afraid of that. They're not afraid of you because you're educated. They're not afraid of you because you can read. Because once we learn how to read, we don't even want to read the right things. We want to read everything that, we love to talk about. Well, black people don't read. Black people don't read. Let me let you in on a little something. Let me let you in on a little something. When the white man came to this country and took this country from the Indians, the majority of those white men could not read. They couldn't read anything. They didn't know. It was common for people not to be able to read during that time. You had kings that couldn't read. You had some kings. Some kings were just majority famous just because they could read. But at the same time, these men governed kingdoms, governed societies, and couldn't even read. So you reading, we quick to tell another black man, pick up a book, and it'd be the same Negroes that reject the one book that can get them out of slavery. Let me read on. And they shall be afraid of thee. This is how they're afraid of you. They're afraid of you when you separate from them and you start keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, and you encourage others to do so also. Now you're a threat. Now they're afraid of you. Now they fear you now. You want respect, you know what I'm saying? This will show you how to get it. You ain't going to get it off some Commission book of the dead or whatever, or some type of Pan-African garbage or flat earth or any of that garbage. You ain't going to get it off that. You're going to get it off this right here. And all people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee. And the Lord shall make thee plenteous in goods, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy ground, in the land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers to give thee. Now, wow, okay. And then also in verse 12, this goes right along with that. The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure. Now, we have to think, what is the good treasure of the Lord? The good treasure is when the Most High opens those windows of heaven, just like what the Christian church love to quote. The Lord will open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing that you can't receive. Open the windows of heaven. They don't even know what it's talking about when it's talking about the windows of heaven. The windows of heaven produces rain in due season so your crops can grow. So your cattle can be fed and have nice, nourishing grass to eat. While they grow and be big and strong. And everybody will covet your cattle. They'll covet your fruits and everything that you're raising, and they'll wonder what is it that you're actually doing to make that happen. And they're going to only come to one conclusion eventually, and that's that the fact that the Lord is with you, and they will be afraid of you. They'll see all the cattle and all of that you got, and all how they're plenteous in number. And they're healthier than any other cattle on the face of the planet. And they'll want them cattle, but they'll be afraid to try and take them. So what are they going to do? They're going to spend top dollar buying them from you. And with that top dollar that they spend buying from you, you're going to take that, you know what I'm saying, and distribute that stuff, throughout your kingdom for whoever has need or whatever. And the Lord will cause a blessing to come up, you know what I'm saying? And this will start to really enrich, our society. This will start to enrich the kingdom. You see what I'm saying? If you grow better crops than anybody else and you have better cattle than anybody else, it's a no-brainer. And nobody can take it from you. It's a no-brainer. You're going to be wealthier than anybody on the face of the planet. When it all boils down to it, you're going to be wealthier. See what I'm saying? The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven, to give the rain unto thy land in his season, and to bless all the work of thy hand. And thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. Means, what's going to happen with this? We're going to lend to many nations. We're going to be on Mount Zion lending to all these nations who done fell in decay. We're going to be lending money to them. And whoever's lending the money, as the saying goes, the hand that feeds is the hand that leads. So when we're lending them money, that's going to give us some control. Because they're going to be afraid of us for one thing. So it's not like we're going to be lending them money and they're just going to take the money and still going to be doing their own thing. No, because we'll have money to give them and they'll be afraid of us. You see what I'm saying? Just like the position the Jewish white man is in today. They're afraid of the Jewish white man because they know that the Jewish white man has armies all over the earth. You see what I'm saying? They know that the world sympathizes with the Holocaust. You see what I'm saying? They know about all of that. And people are very afraid of them. That's why you don't see any comedians or anything pushing Jewish jokes. You see what I'm saying? Nobody jokes on the Holocaust. They'll joke on slavery all day. Because in the position that we're in, nobody fears us. But everybody fears them. So when they lend money, the people understand that they're in a debt. They understand that they're in debt to the Jewish man. So, but since they're afraid of him, they have to pay him back. And if they can't pay him back, then that gives him control inside their government. You see what I'm saying? Now he's making decisions. Now he's sitting on somewhere on their boards, telling them what to do. And guess what? They're doing it. They're resistant in some, they're resilient in some ways or whatever, but overall, they're still obedient. And they're doing what he says. If not, then he sends in an army to come and attack them and kill them. Then they get it together then, then they give him the control that he wants. Well, it's going to be the same way in the kingdom except for on the righteous side. Because the Jewish white man is a vile monster and a beast. But we're going to be doing this in holiness and righteousness and in fairness. You see what I'm saying? And with us doing this in righteousness and fairness, they're not going to be able to bring an occasion, a complaint up against us. The only thing that they're going to have to be able to do is conform to what we say. So if we lending money to Korea, China, we lending them billions of dollars, and they're afraid of us. Now we can go inside their land, and we can sit there and say, you know what? Y'all need to stop those damn dog festivals. That's unlawful. We don't like that. Y'all keep doing that, and y'all gonna have y'all's name gonna have a bad taste in our mouth. And since they're afraid of us, they're gonna want to shut down the dog festival. You see what I'm saying? They're not gonna want to do that. They're gonna be eating the dogs in secret. They're not gonna have this big lewd display of them killing thousands of dogs and eating them, strangling them and all of that. They're not going to have that. That's inhumane. As the scriptures say, a righteous man is kind to his beast, but to the wicked, I'm paraphrasing, to the wicked, even the tender mercies of them are cruel. Yeah, let's go back into the scripture. And the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail. And thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath. If that thou hearkenest unto the commandments of the Lord thy God, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them. Now, what we're going to go to now, let's see what this blessing, I want everybody to get a visualization of this. Because, as the saying goes, if you can't see it, you can't be it. You see what I'm saying? When you look at any type of goal that you've done in your life, when you look at any type of achievement that you've done made in your life, you visualize yourself doing that. You see what I'm saying? Well, guess what? The kingdom is no different. You have to visualize the manifestation of the blessing in the kingdom. Start to visualize it. Meditate upon it. Think about it. That's one of the things that we do here in the ISUPK. We always think about the nations that's going to be serving us. What we're going to have them doing. We're planning this. We're thinking about this stuff like it's going to happen tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? This is prepping yourself. The white man on the plantation was prepping his little son, 5 and 6-year-old son, to be a leader over niggas. You see what I'm saying? Having him visualize himself being a master. That little black boy that he's playing with, when he's of age, he's going to be Lord and ruler over him. That's funny because the Christian black people don't see a sin with that. They don't see that as being wrong. They don't see, Mr. Charlie teaching little Charlie Jr. to grow up and to be a ruler and a master over black people. You see white people do it to this day, and you still don't bring no accusation. You don't bring no accusation up against them. You don't say that they're wrong for that or any of that. But you'll sit there and call us wrong when we're just only stating what the Bible says about how we're going to be ruling over all of these nations. So what we need to be doing is start to meditate and start to think about how we're going to be doing this. You know, what is it going to look like? You know, what is the kingdom going to look like? What nations are going to be doing what? What will be their particular servitudes towards us? You see what I'm saying? Because every nation has a gift. Like, say, for instance, when you look at Tyre, it's a family of the Canaanites, right along with the Zidonians and all of them. These people were very good with wood. You see what I'm saying? They were very good with wood. Working with wood, nobody on the earth, except for Israelites, could beat them in woodwork. You see what I'm saying? And that was something that they inherited. You see what I'm saying? The Canaanites were good with trade. Just like with Tyre, which was also Canaanites, they were importing and exporting trees, you know, big gigantic logs, bringing them to Jerusalem, all type of different trees and all different manner of woodwork. They were good with doing that. Well, the other nationalities are good with certain things that is going to be a service unto us also. Just like we're good at a lot of things right now, and everything that we're good at benefits every other nation. Well, it's going to go in reverse, and everything that they're good at is going to benefit our one nation. And let's go to Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 1. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen up on thee. This glory of the Lord being risen upon us is going to cause all the other nations to pay attention to us and to fear us, as what I just read in the previous scripture. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth. Right? The darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. Now think about it. There was a time when this went on in Egypt. When all the Egyptians suffered darkness, we had light. While all the Egyptians, didn't have good, clean water to drink, we had good, clean water to drink. We were celebrating as they fell. But the Lord shall rise up on thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. The glory of the Lord is going to be seen upon us. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light. The Gentiles is going to come to the light because they're going to be attracted to it. They're going to be attracted to all the things, all the blessings. They're just like with America. Now, America was the perverse side of this blessing. America was the light to the earth, to the world. It is looked at as the light of the world now. But this is a false light. Just like when you see certain movies of immigrants coming to America. And they're on the boat, and they're traveling on the boat and all of that. And then they look up at the Statue of Liberty. And then they look with such hope and amazement. And, and all of that, and like they've accomplished something great just by making it here. Well, that is the perverse version of this blessing that is talked about here in Isaiah chapter 60. That's the counterfeit knockoff version which Esau portrays. But we're going to have the real deal. Our light is going to be real. And kings to the brightness of thy rising. All the kings of the earth are going to humble themselves. You know, they're going to treat some of the lowest of our people with respect, with great respect and reverence. And this is going to be kings that's going to be doing this. Lift up thine eyes round about. It's like, so you do me a favor? You give me a glass of water? Lift up thine eyes round about and see. All they gather themselves together. They come to thee. Thy sons shall come from far, and thy daughters shall be nursed at thy side. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. What does it mean by the abundance of the sea? Well, okay, let's take a look back in history. When you had gold, you had Edomites, Spaniards and all them that were taking the gold and they on the ships, taking it from, America and all that. Trying to take the ships, back to England and all that. That was the abundance of the sea right there. All the gold and silver and diamonds and all that they had got from the Americas, from our brethren. They had so much of it, sometimes the ship sunk because it had too much gold on it. But this abundance of the sea is going to be converted unto us. They're going to be bringing this stuff to us. All the gold, silver, so on and so forth, all the things that we have need of. We ain't even going to have to leave Jerusalem. Everything will be brought to us. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. The multitude of camels shall cover thee. The dromedaries of Midian and Ephah, all they from Sheba shall come. Now think about it. Now, all of these from Sheba, from Midian, these people are also good with camels. They're real good with camels and sheep, things like that. They shall bring gold and incense. Now Sheba was also known for having some of the finest gold and incense. That's one of the reasons why in your stores and all that you got Africans selling the incense. A lot of the Sheba was also one of the families of Ethiopia. They were Cushites. All of them were Cush. They were always known for having incense, good frankincense and myrrh, things like that. That's why Queen of Sheba brought so many incense and things like that when she came to visit King Solomon. Now just think about what Queen Sheba did herself. Now, this is the same blessing that King Solomon had. But now you're going to have a team of kings of Sheba and Midian and Ephah coming down bringing all this stuff. So think about it. What type of renown are we going to have on the earth with this going on? And they shall show forth the praises of the Lord. All the flocks of Kedar. Kedar is one of the stocks of the Arabians. Shall be gathered together unto thee. All the flocks of Kedar. Think about it. Just like what Kedar was also known for having some of the finest sheep and goats. Just like what King in Song of Solomon, when she said it was black as the curtains of Kedar. You see what I'm saying? Now think about it, that the goats a lot of the goats had solid black wool, and the sheep. Like you hear the term black sheep. Those curtains of Kedar, were made out of some of the finest black sheep and goat's wool. Minister unto thee. They had the Baal had something. The Baal was the firstborn son of Ishmael. Now, the Baal, that nation, that stock of the Arabs, also is known for having nice, fine rams. You see what I'm saying? They shall come up with acceptance on my altar. Now they talk about, the sacrifice is done away with. Sacrifice is done away with. Animal sacrifice is done away with. No, animal sacrifice ain't done away with. We just don't own any land or any cattle or any sheep or anything. Sacrifice for sins is done away with, yes. But sacrificing will never be done away with. You see what I'm saying? That's what this is right now. This is a sacrifice. That's why he said they should come up on my altar. And this ain't a past prophecy right here. This is a future prophecy. They're going to bring all of these things to sacrifice unto the Lord. They're going to bring the sheep, the rams, and all of that so with acceptance on my altar, and I will glorify the house of my glory. The Lord is going to accept the sacrifice at this time from these heathens, because we're going to have broken all the spirit out of these heathens. You see what I'm saying? We've been done have broken all the spirit out of them. You see? So now they're going to know, they're going to be putting away their false gods and all that, and they're going to be a joyful sacrifice up to the Most High. I will glorify the house of my glory. Oh, and also at the same time, though, they're going to have their own lands. That's why they're going to have to bring this stuff up. They're going to have to bring this stuff from their own lands. You see what I'm saying? They're going to have to bring this stuff from whatever country that they in, because they're also going to be, misplaced. They're going to be wanting to go back until their original land and all of that. And as they start to populate there, and the Lord blesses his people, they're going to start to bring, and he blesses them to where they can raise all of these, fat cattle and all of that. And they're going to be bringing all of this stuff up. Who are these that fly as clouds and as doves to their windows? Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and gold with them, unto the name of the Lord thy God, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he has glorified thee. Now also too, we're going to be dispersed out to gather our brethren that are still in lands of heathens and all that. But when we come back with them, we're not going to come back empty-handed. They're going to be given gold, silver, all different manner of precious things, and we're going to be coming back with all of that. This is what it means for the blessing to be overtaking you. You see what I'm saying? Blessed you be in the city, blessed you be in the field. We're going to have a lot of field land also in Jerusalem, because by trade we are a cattle people. That's why they call us the Hyksos in ancient Egypt. We still going to be a cattle people. We still going to be like that. We're still going to be shepherds. We're still going to be the shepherd kings. And we're going to have a blessing in the field, and a blessing also when we go into the cities. When we talk about blessing when I come out, and blessing when I go in. Now we're going to go out here, and we're going to go out with a blessing, and we're going to come back with a blessing also, because he has glorified thee, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls. Now think about it. Now when it talks about, Jerusalem being a city without walls. So this wall that it's talking about is not a literal wall. It means you're going to have Gentiles that are going to be strangers, are going to also be a defense of us from other strangers. You're going to have strangers who will be like, man, a strange nation is going to be like, why don't you come and join with us? And then we could go up to Jerusalem and we could take a spoil. We can rob one of the cities there. You see what I'm saying? We can just hit that, that small city right there and got all that stuff. We can just go ahead and we can hit that one right quick. And that stranger is going to be like, no, the hell you ain't. He's going to be like, They're going to muster an army together like, you ain't going to sit there and put a curse up on us. and that they might mess around and go to war with them themselves and report back to us, telling us what happened, what went down. That is a wall right there. A wall is for defense. Now you see what that defense can look like, and on all sides we'll be protected like that because people will be afraid to come up against us. But at all times you always have some nation that's foolish, and want to test the waters a bit. The other nations will check his behind. You see what I'm saying? To where he's not even going to want it. He's like, well, damn, we ain't got no Confederates with this. We can't go up against them ourselves. You know that God, is with them, and they, and how good they can fight and all of that. So they're gonna be like, well, no, that's a wall right there. That's a wall. We ain't even gonna have literal walls. We're gonna be laid out to where everybody can see us. We're not gonna have big old huge fortified walls and towers and all. We're not even gonna have that. We're gonna be laid out for everybody to see. Jerusalem is going to look like this huge diamond up on this mountain set from afar. You know what I'm saying? When you look at it from afar. People are going to have telescopes and all that looking up into Jerusalem. Looking up and seeing nothing but bling. You know what I'm saying? And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. What does it mean by the kings is going to minister to us? They're going to serve us. Whatever it is that they have, however they can serve us, is what they're going to do. They're going to serve us. If we need this, we need that. We need fighting men. We need such and such. Whatever it is that we need, they're going to provide it for us. We won't have to ask twice. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night. So what is this saying? It's just going to be laid out as a free-for-all. It's not even going to be a fortified city. The city is going to be fortified by the Lord. You see what I'm saying? And like I was talking about with the walls being built up, just say if you have three nations, that decide they do want to come up against us, right? They decide that that they're in league and they want to do this thing, and they in multitude as the sands of the sea, right? Well, you'll have other nations that will come and check those three nations. Or if that fails, no problem. The Lord can just hit them with a spirit of confusion and they'll start to kill each other. You see what I'm saying? Because they'll start to think, as they come up, they'll start to think, once they see once the fear of the Lord hit them, right? And they see something in Jerusalem that they didn't want to see, then they're going to start to say, you set us up. You set us up. No, you set us up. And then they'll start to slay one another. You see what I'm saying? That's what kind of wall we're going to have. And that wall, that piled up dead bodies that the whole world is going to see, that's of the multitude and all the fowls of the air coming and eating them, everybody's going to see that and they're going to be like, man, we know not to come up against them. Be like, whatever country plan on doing this, then our country, because there's still going to be other powerful countries up on the earth. And they're going to be like, wait a minute, whatever country plans on doing what they did, what they try to do, y'all going to have to deal with us. That's another way that the strangers is going to build up our walls. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles. The forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. The forces of the Gentiles is all their pomp, all their mighty army, all of that. But they're not going to be coming to fight. They're going to be coming to serve. You see what I'm saying? For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Means they're going to be destroyed. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary, and I will make the place of my feet glorious. Imported trees. We're going to have the most exotic trees on the face of the planet. We're going to have because for one thing, we're going to live in a Mediterranean climate. In a Mediterranean climate, you can pretty much grow about anything. You see what I'm saying? And they're going to be bringing these trees up to us so that we can plant them. You know, we're going to have labor forces planting these trees, you know, and next thing you know, every sweet-smelling tree is going to be all throughout Jerusalem. Every good, pretty tree to look at that's good for food or whatever the case is. We're going to have all that around. Now, think about it. Now, you got all the beautiful camels, all the good, strong camels, all the nice rams, the sheep, you know, the goats, all the good livestock. Now start to visualize what the land is going to start to look like. This is the building up. Now you got all the fair trees around, right? And you got all this gold and silver, and you have the incense. Look at all of this stuff coming to Jerusalem. Now what's Jerusalem going to start to look like? What's going to start to happen in Jerusalem? You see what I'm saying? Jerusalem is going to start to look like heaven. What's this? The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. Who has afflicted us? Let me give you a hint. The white man. The sons of the white man that afflicted us is going to come bending unto us. And all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet. And they shall call thee the city of the Lord, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee. I will make thee an eternal excellency. Now what does it say? It says an eternal excellency. So this ain't something that was done, you know, back in the past, because during the time when Isaiah prophesied this, Jerusalem has never been, you know, after the time of Isaiah, Jerusalem had never reached this type of glory, except for during the time of, like, say, for instance, the time of Simon, the brother of Judas Maccabeus. The kingdom was always in turmoil, in some type of turmoil before this. When all the other kings and all of that, it was always some turmoil going on. So obviously this is talking about a future prophecy, and it's not talking about the past. You see what I'm saying? A joy of many generations. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shalt suck the breast of kings. And thou shalt know that I, the Lord, am thy Savior and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. Now watch this. For brass I will bring gold. Means just as common as what brass is, the Lord said he will bring gold. Now think about it. Brass is pretty common. You see brass out there, you don't get amazed off seeing brass. Well, just think about it. This is how plenteous gold is going to be in Jerusalem. This is how plenteous of the abundance that it's going to be in, to where we're going to look at gold, real, pure gold, and we're not really going to think much of it. You know, these menorahs and all of this stuff, these candlesticks, is going to be made of pure gold. And for wood, brass, so just as common as wood is, you're going to have brass, and brass is going to be just as common as what wood is today. You see what I'm saying? And for stones, iron. Just as common as stones are, there will be iron. What are these iron? This iron is going to build? It's going to build things for us. It's going to build structures. Because we're going to be a glorious city. So a glorious city has to have glorious structures. And we're also going to have a lot of countryside also. But Jerusalem, Mount Zion, is going to be a city, builded and inhabited without walls. I will also make thy officers peace. Means it ain't going to be no more black cops beating the hell out of black people to impress white people. It's not going to be no more of that. The officers are going to be peace. What does it mean? Does it mean that we all going to be just running around soft? No, hell no. We're going to be running around, we're going to be hardcore dudes, and we're going to make sure that we're going to preserve the peace. Whatever's coming up against peace, we're going to handle that business. And our people is going to be like brothers. You know, there's not going to be no breach between us and the brothers. Just like it is when, you know, if you in McDonald's and you see a black cop that you know and he's around a couple of his white buddies, he will not say hi to you. Believe that. And you know him. He can live up the street from you or something. Know who you are, you know, so on and so forth. But if he's with his white buddies, he will not say anything to you at all. He's a matter of fact, if you look over to say something, he's going to look off. Because he's not a peace officer. He's a war officer against you. And he's trying to do whatever it takes to please his white masters. But in the kingdom of the Lord, the officers are going to be peace. We're going to be going up giving salutes and daps, and, you know, the officers is going to be, you know, giving pounds, you know, and all type of things like that. We're going to be like family. We're going to ask you of your welfare, how you doing? Is everything all right? You ain't going to be no trouble, right? Everything good? Everything Tawah? Okay. We're going to seek your well-being. I also make thy officers peace and thine exactors righteousness. The exactors are the people that are going to take and collect. You know, they're going to collect money, going to collect donations, tithes, things like that. You know, and they're going to be righteous men. They're going to be collecting things, for certain things or whatever. But they're also going to be collecting from the heathens. But they're going to be fair with it. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be righteous. Violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders. But thou shalt call thy walls salvation, and thy gates praise. The sun shall be no more thy light by day. Now that's a deep scripture right there. The Lord ain't going to do away with the sun. No. He's not going to do away with it. See, just like when we was in the wilderness, how at nighttime we had that pillar of fire that lit up everything. Well, at this time, the Lord is going to be a fire that's going to light up all of Jerusalem. The sun is still going to be there. But the sun will not be the source of light. You see what I'm saying? The sun, the sun shall be no more thy light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee. But the Lord shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and thy God thy glory. Now think about it. So with the light of the Lord, because his presence is going to be there. His presence is going to be there. You ain't going to have a need for the sun. You see what I'm saying? You ain't even going to have a need for all of that. Even though it's still going to be there. And in that day, we'll be able to look directly at the sun. Thy sun shall no more go down. See this? So what is this saying? There will be no nighttime in the kingdom of the Lord. That's what it means. There'll be no more day and night, because see, once we start the closer we start to get into the kingdom of the Lord and the heaven, time is going to become, it's going to be obsolete pretty much. We won't have to look up at the sun and see what time of day it is or anything like that. We won't have to do any of that, because, you don't have to worry about night coming. If you don't have to worry about night coming, then you don't have to worry about what time of day it is. With the Lord's presence, now you're going to be stepping into eternity now. That's why it says here, thy sun shall no more go down. Neither shall thy moon withdraw itself. They'll be out there. The sun, it's not going to even have to, rotate around, like that anymore. For the Lord shall be thine everlasting light, and the days of thy mourning shall be ended. Now the other nations, they're gonna need it. That's still lucky. The other nations are gonna need the sunlight and everything. They're gonna need that. But we will not need it. Now just think about it. Just think about if you don't need the sun and everybody else do. Just think about, everybody else the nighttime come, they're gonna have to fear the things at night. We won't have that trouble. We won't have that problem. Everybody else will, all the other nations will. Thy people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. A little one shall become 1,000. Now think about this. A little one. This little one is talking about somebody that's humble, somebody that's, small in his own sight. Just like when King David, just like when the Lord said to King Saul, he mentioned about when he was small in his own eyes, how he gave him the kingdom. That says here, a little one shall become 1,000. Now think about this for a second. With a little one becoming 1,000, right? How is this going to happen? Is this going to happen if every man's only going to have one wife? Do that way, if every man only has one wife, a little one's not going to become 1,000. You see what I'm saying? Also, too, your life expectancy is going to jack way up. So you might live to see 1,000 of your children before you got to finally, take your dirt now. You might live to see your 1,000 children. That's what it says. A little one become 1,000. That means a man having more than one wife. And a small one, a strong nation. There's going to be nations formed out of, regular brothers. There's still, of course, going to be Israelite, but they're going to be such multitude that they're going to be like their own nation, because they're going to be so plenteous. I, the Lord, will hasten it in his time. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach the good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound. So what is this saying? The Lord's going to open the prisons. The lawful captive will be set free. You see what I'm saying? Just like it was during the time of the Apostle Paul, when that earthquake came and raised all the prison doors. to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn. This is how, knowing this stuff is one of the ways that you're comforted. You see what I'm saying? Knowing this stuff is one of the ways that you are comforted. To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes. What are we in right now? We're in a time of ashes. These ashes, the ashes is this slavery that we in this Edomite Babylonian captivity. The Lord is going to, we give the Lord this, and he's going to exchange this for the beauty and the glory of the kingdom that he plans on giving to us. All we have to do is want to give up slavery. You see what I'm saying? We have to learn to hate the ashes and want to give them away so that we can receive the blessing of the Most High. The Lord don't want us being comfortable walling in ashes. The oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness and the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified. Will be called trees of righteousness, which this also points to the two witnesses when they were referred to as the two olive trees. So it also confirms more of what they was talking about. We will be called trees of righteousness, the tree of Judah and the tree of Ephraim. And they shall build the old wastes, and they shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations. That land over right now is desolate. With all that stuff that the Amalekites have built up on that land is desolate in the sight of the Lord. Because the Lord sees the future for that place and how he's going to lay all that garbage down. You see what I'm saying? And they got abominations setting up in the land. So the Lord sees the destruction of that place. That's why it says here, and they shall build the old waste. They shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks. Strangers are going to be feeding all of our flocks. See what I'm saying? The strangers we're not even going to have to feed our own animals. They're going to be doing it. And said they shall stand and feed your flocks. They're going to be doing this stuff with pride. Because just like we love being good slaves here in America, and we have our fiercest battles a lot of times with people that love being slaves. Well, the whole world is going to, in this day, is going to love serving us. And we'll see to it. And the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. You see this? Strangers is going to feed the flocks. Strangers is going to bring the flocks in. Strangers is going to be feeding, they're going to be plowing the land. Strangers are also going to be taking care of the vineyards. And making sure that the wine and everything's good. They're going to be in our fields, in our wine vineyards. Just like our brothers was, down all throughout South America and Spain and all of that for the Edomites. Well, they're going to be doing this stuff for us. You're going to have bottles of wine. It's going to have, a brother's face on it. Just like you have Juan Valdez and all of that. But it's going to be a brother's face on it. There'll be some Isupk brother. His face will be on the bottom. Or some Judahite brother, some Benjamite brother will be on the bottom. But ye shall be named the priest of the Lord. There you go. the nation of kings and priests. Men shall call you the ministers of our God. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. We're going to be boasting ourselves in their glory. We're going to be talking about, those Zidonians, boy, they done sat there and done brought us some good old wood. Yeah. We're going to make a lot of good stuff out of that right there. We're going to make all types of frames, things, chairs, and, nice seats and desks. We're gonna get that all the way together. Yeah. Look at the Rams. Look at the Rams that the Bayos brought. Oh yeah, look at those boys right there. Look how how strong they are, how powerful they are. Good for breeding. Good for all of that. We're gonna be boasting ourselves in their glory. For your shame ye shall have double, and for confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore their land they shall possess the double. Could you imagine blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians getting double of everything that we've ever lost? Could anybody picture that? Well, guess what? That's definitely the thing that is going to happen. We're going to get double of everything that we've lost. Everything that we've lost in this land, everything that we've lost, in Jerusalem, we're going to get double that. For I, the Lord, love judgment. I hate robbery for burnt offerings, and I will direct their work in truth, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them. And their seed shall be known among the Gentiles. Everybody's going to know who we are, and they're going to be scared to say something bad against us. They're going to be afraid. We're going to definitely be like movie stars everywhere we go. Even the least of the flock, even the least among us is going to be like that. And their offspring among the people, all that see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed which the Lord hath blessed. I will greatly rejoice in the Lord. My soul shall be joyful in my God, for he has clothed me with the garment of salvation. He has covered me with the robe of righteousness. As a bridegroom decketh himself with ornaments, as a bride adorneth herself with her jewels. For as the earth bringeth forth her bud, and as the garden causeth the things that are sown in it to spring forth, so the Lord God will cause righteousness and praise to spring forth before all the nations. And who is this praise and righteousness going to be brought through? Going to be brought through the nation of Israel, of course. For Zion's sake I will not hold my peace, and for Jerusalem's sake I will not rest, until the righteousness thereof go forth as brightness, and the salvation thereof as a lamp that burneth. And the Gentiles shall see thy righteousness, and all kings thy glory. And thou shalt be called by a new name, which the mouth of the Lord shall name. Thou shalt also be a crown of glory in the hand of the Lord, and a royal diadem on the hand of thy God. Think about it. Jerusalem, the city of Jerusalem, sitting on top of the mountain, and with all the diamonds and sparkling and gold and all of that, it's going to look just like a crown. I mean, even literally looking from afar and everything, all of the diamonds and sparkling, Jerusalem is going to have so much diamonds and gold and all that, that the golden city is going to actually look like a crown on the top of a mountain. Thou shalt no more be termed forsaken, neither shall thy land any more be termed desolate, but thou shalt be called Hephzibah, and thy land Beulah, For the Lord delighteth in thee, and thy land shall be married. Means that in a marriage is a unbreakable covenant. This time we're going to be married to the land. Means there's not going to be no more casting out of us being destroyed and kicked out of the land, and the land be made desolate for all of this time. That's not going to ever go on again. We're going to be married, and an everlasting covenant is going to be made with us and the land also. For as a young man marrieth a virgin, so shall thy sons marry thee. And as the bridegroom rejoices over the bride, so shall thy God rejoice over thee. I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silence, and give him no rest till he establish. Means don't give the Lord any rest until he establish this thing. Constantly be thinking about it, constantly be talking about it, constantly be mentioning it to the Lord in prayer. Constantly be doing this thing. And he made Jerusalem a praise in the earth. The Lord hath sworn by his right hand and by the arm of his strength, surely I will no more give thy corn to be meat for thy enemies. So what does this mean? Everything that we produce, we are going to be keeping it. Everything that our sons and daughters inheriting, they will be inheriting. And this stuff will not go to another people. This stuff will be with us. Yeah, they can buy some, but, the heathens, they can buy whatever. But this stuff will no longer be turned over from us to them. We will keep total control over these things. And the sons of the stranger shall not drink thy wine. They will not sit there and be enjoying all the good things that we're supposed to be enjoying. They'll have their own little things that'll be good for them, whatever. But our good things, we will have the best of everything. We'll be at the top of everything. We will be drinking the wine. Means we will be sitting back and rejoicing in joy and in comfort. And the sons of the strangers shall not drink thy wine for which thou hast labored. But they that have gathered it shall eat it. And praise the Lord. And they that have brought it together shall drink it in the courts of my holiness. Means you're gonna be living on the fruit of your own hands and not giving it to somebody else. You're gonna be getting everything that you labor for. Well, to tell you the truth, you're gonna have slaves. You're gonna have slave servants out there in the vineyard, and all of their labor is gonna be accounted to you. And you're going to be drinking of your own wine and not somebody else. Go through the gates. Prepare ye the way of the people. The way of the people. Cast up the highway. Gather out the stones. Lift up a standard for the people. Behold, the Lord hath proclaimed unto the end of the world. Say ye to the daughter of Zion, behold, thy salvation cometh. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. And they shall call them the holy people. The holy people meaning what? The separate people. They're separated from everybody on the face of the planet. The redeemed of the Lord, and thou shalt be called, sought out, a city not forsaken. Now, let's go to Isaiah chapter 54. Chapter 54 and verse Start at verse 1. Sing, O barren, thou that bearest not. Break forth into singing and cry aloud, thou that did not travail with child. For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, saith the Lord. Enlarge the place of thy tent, and let them stretch forth the curtains of thy habitation. Spare not, lengthen thy cords, and strengthen thy stakes. For thou shalt break forth on the right hand and on the left, and thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles. Now, what does it mean by us inheriting the Gentiles? We're going to own them. We're going to own the Gentiles. And they will also be an inheritance for our children. Just like we were in their land. You know, they inherited us. Now we're going to inherit them. We're going to own them. We're going to be telling them what to do. We're going to be governing their lives. You see what I'm saying? We're going to make out their way. And make the desolate cities to be inhabited. Fear not, for thou shalt not be ashamed, neither be thou confounded, for thou shalt not be put to shame. For thou shalt forget the shame of thy youth, and shalt not remember the reproach of thy widowhood anymore. What are we going to forget? What's the shame of our youth? It's going to be sin. That's what we're going to forget. We're going to totally forget about it. And the shame of the youth, the shame of the sin that we formerly did, that stuff's going to be blotted out. And we're going to be brand new, born again as a nation. For thy maker is thine husband. The Lord of hosts is his name. And thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. The God of the whole earth shall he be called. For the Lord hath called thee as a woman forsaken, and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth, when thou wast refused, saith thy God. For a small moment I have forsaken thee, but with great mercy will I gather thee. In a little wrath I hid my face from thee, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee. And the Lord said the Lord thy Redeemer. For this is as the waters of Noah unto me. For as I have sworn by the waters of Noah should no more go over the earth, so have I sworn that I will not be wroth with thee, nor rebuke thee. See, this is the Lord saying he will not rebuke us anymore. He will not be angry with us anymore this time. So if the Lord's not angry with us, then we will be unstoppable. For the mountains shall depart, and the hills be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from thee. Neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed, saith the Lord, that hath mercy on thee. O thou afflicted, tossed with tempest, and not comforted, behold, I will lay thy stones with fair colors. You see this? The stones, we're going to have rubies of all different colors. Diamonds of all different colors. It's going to be laid out throughout Jerusalem. Let me read that part again. And I will lay thy stones with fair colors, and lay thy foundations with sapphires. Wow, you imagine this. Now take all the gold, all the silver, all the cattle, all the camels, all the trees and everything coming from all the different parts of the earth, all the iron, the brass, and picture all of this stuff coming together and building up Jerusalem. Now picture in your mind of what this is going to look like. Picture this in your mind for a second. What will this look like right here? And I will make thy windows of agates. A gate is a precious stone. Our windows will be made of this. Could you picture this? Our windows made of agates. You can look up agates and see what it is. You can Google it and look it up and get images of agates. Now the Lord said He's going to make our windows of this thing, of this type of stone right here. It's like a crystal type of stone. And thy gates of carbuncles, which is another type of diamond type of stone. And all thy borders of pleasant stones. Wow, all the borders is going to be made of pleasant stones, different stones. Now think about it. Now, you have a stone, a precious stone that represents each tribe of Israel, of the 12 tribes of Israel. Like, say for instance, one tribe has one stone that represents that tribe. Just like on the priest's ephod. Now just think about it. Wherever say like for instance, I can't remember the exact stones for whatever tribe, but say for instance, Judah, a sapphire. That means the borders of Judah will be laid out with sapphire. The borders of Ephraim laid out with emeralds. You see what I'm saying? And that will be the border separating that. So looking at this looking at this, you'll be able to see each tribe, what I'm saying? Imagine the type of glorious sight that we see in that from a bird's eye view. All the borders, being decked out with those stones. And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children. In righteousness shalt thou be established. Thou shalt be far from oppression. Now that's worth clapping up right there. Far from oppression. We'll be far from the white man. Far from anybody. As a matter of fact, all the other races is going to be afraid of us. They're going to be too afraid to try and oppress us. For thou shalt not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near thee. Behold, they shall surely gather together. Now, watch this. Now, it says here, it says, behold, they shall surely gather together. Now, what is this talking about? Now, because like I mentioned before, you're going to have rebellious nations that's going to be like, man, look, they're going to be like, man, screw them, man. We need to go ahead and take, back what's ours. We need to go up there and get that gold and that silver and all that. We need to invade that city. We need to kill up, you know what I'm saying? They want to ravish the women and they want to do all of that. And they're going to have a confederacy. That's why it says, behold, they shall surely gather together. But see, here's the thing, right? Now, when they've gathered together in times past, the Lord allowed them to come down. The Lord brought them down. You see what I'm saying? Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. Woo. What does this mean? It means they're going to be, the nations that come down, they're not going to gather by the Lord. So the Lord is not going to be, He's not going to be with them in this thing that they're doing. He's going to be with us. So what's going to happen with them? When you go back into Deuteronomy 28, where it talks about, they should come up against us one way and flee 7 ways. That's what it's talking about. If they come 7 ways, then they only got one way to escape. Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake. Wow. Check that out. Just like I mentioned before, the Lord can send a spirit up on them, and they start slaughtering and killing each other. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. That's one of the favorite sayings of the Christian church. But they ain't got a damn clue what that scripture's even talking about. Because, see, they talk about no weapon formed against me shall prosper, but at the same time, diabetes is prospering. Heart disease is sure prospering. Sickle cell anemia is prospering. All of this stuff is prospering inside their own church. While they run around talking about, Shannon LaBoche, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. They have to add it, but they don't sit there and think about, well, why is this weapon prospering against you? Why is in this side of this church is all of these weapons that's formed against us seem to be prospering because we just had another funeral. Sister such and such passed away. Brother deacon such and such, brother such and such passed away. Now those weapons are prospering. They're prospering. You have to understand everything that I just broke down in order to understand the scripture right here in Isaiah 54 and 17 when it talks about no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. It's not even just talking about one single person. This is talking about our nation of people. We're so selfish. We're so self-minded, that we that's why we twist this scripture. That's why black people twist this scripture so much. No weapon that's formed against me shall prosper. But at the same time, every weapon is prospering. And every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment, thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord. Now, let's look at the times of King Solomon. King Solomon, during the time of King Solomon, we got the manifestation of the blessing during this time, But the ones that we're going to get in the future is going to be even better than the ones that was in King Solomon's day. Because see, this is going to be everlasting. King Solomon's blessing wasn't everlasting. You see what I'm saying? The blessing in Jerusalem wasn't at that time wasn't an everlasting one. Go to when the Lord established the kingdom inside King Solomon's hand and established him up on the throne. Let's see. Back to what I was saying earlier, it's going to be similar to what happened during the time of King Solomon's day. Except Christ is going to be reigning on the throne in this day. And Hiram, king of Tyre, sent his servants unto Solomon, for he heard that they had anointed him king in the room of his father, for Hiram was ever a lover of David. And Solomon said to Hiram, saying, No, thou knowest how David my father could not build an house unto the name of the Lord his God, for the wars which were about him on every side, until the Lord put them under the soles of his feet. But now the Lord my God, my bad. 1 Kings chapter 5. Now going into the 4th verse. But now the Lord my God has given me rest on every side, so that there is neither adversary nor evil occurred. And behold, I purpose to build an house in the name of the Lord my God, as the Lord spake unto David my father, saying, Thy son, whom thou set up on the throne, in thy room he shall build a house unto my name. Now therefore command that they hew me cedar trees out of Lebanon. Now, what did King David say to this king? He told this king, get your people to hew me cedar trees out of Lebanon. You see what I'm saying? He's able to tell this powerful king what to do. That's how we're going to be in the kingdom. You see what I'm saying? We're going to be able to tell other kings what to do, what to bring, you know. And my servant shall be with thy servants, and unto thee will I give hire for thy servants according to all that thou shalt appoint. For thou knowest that there is not among us any that can skill to hew timber like the Zidonians. You see what I'm saying? The Zidonians were very good with wood. One thing, they were real good with making wooden idols and all of that. They were good with that stuff. But they were good with working with wood. Very good with it. They were real good lumberjacks. And it came to pass, when Hiram heard the words of Solomon, that he rejoiced greatly, and said, blessed be the Lord this day, which hath given unto David a wise son over his great people. Now he was happy about this. Because see, back at that time, there was a covenant between, you know, the Tyre, you know, and because Tyre is one of the families of, that's the chief family, one of the chief families of the Zidonians. And back then, there was peace between us and them. You see what I'm saying? There was peace between, you know, the nation of Israel and Zidon. And Hiram sent to Solomon, saying, I have considered the things which thou sendest to me for, and I will do all thy desire concerning timber of cedar and concerning timber of fir. My servants shall bring them down from Lebanon unto the sea, and I will convey them by sea in floats unto the place that thou shalt appoint me, and will cause them to be discharged there. And thou shalt receive them, and thou shalt accomplish my desire in giving food for my household. So Hiram gave Solomon cedar trees and fir trees according to all his desire. And Solomon gave Hiram 20,000 measures of wheat for food to his household. What is King Solomon doing here? King Solomon is feeding this nation. You know, like I said before, the hand that feeds is the hand that leads. So he's supplying this nation with food. This is the same thing that we're going to be doing all over the earth. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be saying, you know, we need this service done. We need that service done. And we're going to be giving such 1,000 measures of wheat, such of this and of that, of things that they need. You see what I'm saying? We're going to be feeding the earth. Just like what Joseph was doing in his day. You know, Joseph was the only one that had corn. So everybody was given whatever it was service they had just to have corn to eat. Well, the same thing is going on here. And Solomon gave Hiram 20,000 measures of wheat for food to his household, and 20 measures of pure oil. Thus gave Solomon to Hiram year by year. And the Lord gave Solomon wisdom, as he promised him. And there was peace between Hiram and Solomon, and they two made a league together. And the king Solomon raised a levy out of all Israel, and the levy was 30,000 men. And he sent them to Lebanon, 10,000 a month, by courses. You see all of this? This is the type of stuff that we're going to be doing. This is the type of stuff that, the same things that King Solomon, if you want some insight into what the kingdom is going to be like, and you want to see it played out, read the story of King Solomon. You see what I'm saying? Read, all of it, because the things is going to be laid out in a similar fashion. And what did he do with the heathens? He also took the heathens and made them hewers of wood and fetchers of water. The heathens that were in the land and all of that were still in the land during that time. He put them to work. But his own people, he made no bond servants out of them. Well, that's how the kingdom is going to be. A lot of Christians hate that. People in the fake Israelite groups hate that. But here in the ISUPK, we don't hate it. We love it. We're waiting for this day. We're praying for this day. We're watching for this day. We talk about this day. You see what I'm saying? We do all of that. Because if you can't see it, you can't be it. Let me see. Let me drop one more scripture. Isaiah chapter 14 and 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. And they shall rule over their oppressors. You see this? This is going to be an eternal thing. I don't care who don't like it. Us in the ISUPK, we do like it. As a matter of fact, we love it. Just like I said, we're looking forward to this day. And we're in a growth process to prepare us for this day. And part of that growth process is visualizing the kingdom of the Most High. We are the ISUPK, coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yahan. Pay your tithes, help the men of the Lord, support this truth, support your brothers so that we can watch the manifestation of the blessing unfold, so that your great-great-grandchildren don't have to work for somebody else and don't have to suffer. Shalom.